This is a reading or healing for Nathan by Guy Stephen Needler on the 21st of May 2015. Have you had any readings or healings before, by the way?
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I have somebody that does some channeling that I ask the odd question to, but that's about it.
Okay. Well, let me just explain a few things then, so to help you out. What I tend to do and I'll do this as fast as possible. If you don't understand my accent, give me a shout. Don't worry about it. I know that sometimes the variation of my English is different to a lot of the UK, so and it can be confusing for some guys who from the States. So don't worry about it. If I speak too fast, also tell me to slow down. If there's something you don't understand, ask me to explain again. It's not a problem. I mean, I'm not going to be strict on the time. It's more important that you get the information that you need to get out and that you understand it in the way that you are supposed to understand it. Okay, that's the most important thing. Right, I'll get a name for your main guide and an image for your main guide, a form for your main guide, so you can meditate on the guide if you wish to help you get information about problem solving, to help with solutions to issues, decisions, and all these sorts of things. So I'll find out for you. I then find out how many times you've incarnated with this particular guide. I then look at whether you've incarnated together or whether you've swapped roles. That's quite rare, but I'll do that. I then look at how many helpers the guide's got and how they're helping you right now. Okay. And we can work with that as well. I'll then look at how many times you've incarnated in the earth and give you a figure for that, and maybe a little bit of information about some of the eras you might have incarnated into. And then I'll look at how many times you've incarnated in the rest of the physical universe. So we find out how many times you've done that and what sort of frequencies you'd have done it at, because we don't always, well, most of the time we don't actually incarnate at this level. This is quite a low level actually, frequently. So
right.
There's much more higher frequencies in the rest of the physical universe, and a lot of incarnate vehicles or bodies that we can incarnate into, basically. That are out there that we can't see with our physical eyes and we can't detect with our machines. And then I look at where your higher self resides within the structure of the multiverse. And I'll give you a document on this to explain the structure of the multiverse, because it's quite complicated. But where your higher self resides, or the true energetic self, as I'm told to call it, where it resides within the structure of the multiverse, is an indication of how well evolved you are, because we evolve through it. And then we recommune with source, and then when everybody's done that, we all then move on to something else. Okay, the information comes out in a couple of different ways. First way, standard way, my eyes are closed, speaking, pulling information from everywhere for you, talking to you about it. Second way, I don't filter anything. I'll give it you as I get it. I mean, some people filter the information if it's. But if they don't think it should be given to the customer, by the way, or the patient, as the case may be, they tend to filter it. I don't. I'll give it you as it comes. So be prepared for that. Also, your guide and helpers can come through me as well. So they'll push my personality to one side, and they'll speak to you, and they'll speak in the plural, and there's a different personality associated with it. The source, or a creator, what we sometimes call God, can also come through. If there's something specific to communicate to you, that's very, very important. And that's got a singular way of saying things. So it's I say this and I say that, whereas the guides and helpers say we say this, we say that. But those two are quite rare, but you can ask for any of those two to come through and communicate with you directly, if you wish. There's a fourth way, which is they both speak at the same time. That can get very confusing. So if they start saying we say this, we say that, I say that, we say this, I say this, I say that, then it's not me talking to you, it's them swapping the body to talk to you directly. But I've only experienced that 3 times, so it's quite a rare thing. Okay, any quick questions before we carry on, or would you want to start? Should we start off?
No, I don't think so. No.
Well, if you do have questions, just write them down somewhere, and if we can catch up with them later. That's not a problem, or ask them as they come to you. We can also deal with that, because the recording here, so it's all recorded my side, It's an AMR file, so it can be recorded in Apple QuickTime or iTunes or Windows Media Player. It's quite a quite a versatile file type, actually. Okay, let's have a look at. Let's start then, shall we? Let's get stuck in. We can get through this first bit as soon as we can. Again, if I'm speaking too fast or you don't understand my accent, tell me to slow down, or please do. Please tell me to slow down. There's no problem. Right. So where are we? Oh, right. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, the name of your guide is Bethan, or Beth. It's a female energy. Just being very quickly told that you work well with the female energy when you're incarnated in the male body, apparently, and so therefore they've used that as a way of tapping into you to connect with you, to give you guidance as to intuition and hunches and gut feelings about moving in certain directions, or even doing U-turns in directions sometimes. The image of your guide okay. Well, what I've got here is somebody who's wearing tartan. You know what tartan is?
No.
The Welsh and the Scottish wear tartan. It's a type of cloth, type of weave with different patterns on it that are usually geometric in shape. If you surf the internet and look at tartan, and tartan is used for kilts or dresses, those sorts of things, and that each tartan is specific to a certain family or a clan type. Okay, so I've got what I'm getting here is that this Bethan is dressed in sort of almost traditional. It's not Scottish and it's not Welsh, because Welsh also have tartan. It's a little bit of a mixture of the two, but I'm being told that it's a result of the what's being told here. It's an image of a lover or a wife that you had in a previous existence that was in the Scottish borders, as we're told to call it in England. It's the bit where Scotland and England meet, below Glasgow. It's about 250, 300 miles north of Birmingham. So if you type in Scottish borders, you'll understand the location. And so I'm being told there was I'm digressing slightly here, but I'm being told to explain. There was a colony of people from Wales who went up there, and they sort of adopted a halfway house between Scottish law and Welsh law, as it were, and the way that they dressed and stuff. So that was it. And this was, looking at it, they call it a sweetheart. This was what your sweetheart looked like in that time. So this is around 1300, 1400 AD. Okay, and they're saying that this particular image has stayed with you in incarnations since then. So, and how many incarnations have you had since then? So, I'm being told 3/4 because one was a stillbirth. Okay, so let's say 3 whole lives. And this was an image that sort of stuck in your mind as being a particularly enjoyable life, a particularly nice life that you had, and so you remembered it, and they've used that as a way to link in with you, energetically link in with you, so they can guide you in certain areas and lead you into certain things and introduce you to certain people to get certain levels of experience and things. Okay, so it's if you can look at the traditional sort of Scottish ladies' dresses and shawl, then you'll sort of see an example of what Bethan looks like. And although the Scottish tended to have ginger hair, Bethan had black hair. Not totally black, but black hair. Okay, so that's an image of your guide. It's a bit strung out. Sorry about that. Let's have a look at how many times you've worked with this particular guide. Right, quite a reasonable relationship. 224 times. Oh, he's just telling me, don't forget in the energetic, I don't have a gender. It's just energy. So he just wants to make sure that you understand that. So there's no male, there's no female. It's just energy, just neutral energy. So it's he just wanted to put that in there, or she just wanted to put that in there. Okay. Have you worked together before in terms of being incarnate together or swapped roles? Oh, okay. The words were no, didn't need to. He was very good to work with his previous guide. When I took over, the connectivity change was quite seamless, so I didn't need to incarnate with you beforehand to see how you worked or come alongside you sometimes. Your link with this particular guide is excellent, apparently. Very, very good. Okay. What about your helpers? Ooh. Saying right now you've got 64 helpers. Okay, it can go down as low as 28, but they're saying right now you've got 64 because they're what are they doing for you right now? There's 64. There's something happening. Right, they're saying that what we're doing now is we're getting you ready for big changes within your life, and you can sense the changes, hence the anxiety. It's like you don't know what's going to happen next. You're waking up specifically in the morning when you wake up. It's like, oh, it suddenly hits you, and it's they're saying that we're trying to direct you into your new role. There's going to be a big change in your life. Location changes and friendship changes, apparently. And there's a feeling of lack of datum as a result of this that's going to occur. And this is this feeling of big change is what's affecting you. I know you said you cut the root cause, but there's something else. There's something else here which is causing this. And what they're doing is they're preparing you for it. They're getting you ready for it. You're going to experience different things that are going to be considered to be bizarre. It's almost like your awakening process is going to come through as well quite quickly. So you'll be starting to experience different things that aren't particularly visible or experienced in the normal way that we experience incarnation here. Right, what about, so we can come back to this in a moment if you want to. Number of lives on Earth. Oh, hang on, they said there's also a little bit of a fear of change. Yeah, a fear of change there, and that causes the anxiety as well. Inherently you like things to be stable, don't we all? I said, but and there's this thing about this sensing, this change, this complete U-turn or complete right angle turn, as I'm being shown here, is what's sort of agitating you in the background. It's causing you to worry and think about things. Okay, let's have a look at very quickly look at how many times you've incarnated on the Earth. Wow, 29,401 times. Right, what eras? Okay. I'm being told all eras and a very well spaced series of lives. You see, some people bunch them together and they have back-to-back lives and they don't incarnate for ages, or they incarnate in somewhere else in the physical universe. But these are very well spaced lives throughout the total use of the Earth as an evolutionary playground, so to speak. And they're saying that you've been regular, you know, you could almost create a clock from your regularity as to when you incarnate on Earth. So you've experienced basically all aspects of each of the different eras that have been on Earth. The different civilizations, different levels of technology, different levels of connectedness with the greater reality or the energies associated with what we really are. So you've had a really fulfilling series of incarnations here. Okay. Right, let's go on to the rest of the physical universe. This is interesting. And they said, well, you've had 29,402, so almost 1 to 1. And this is something I've not experienced before, by the way. This balance, this level of almost 1 to 1 balance with the incarnations off Earth and on Earth. And again, they said you've distributed yourself around the physical universe in a logical way. You've used all the other frequencies that are available when you can, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That are part of, so there's 12 frequencies associated with the physical universe because it's so low frequency. We need to have 12 frequency bands. These are what mankind thinks of as being the dimensions. The dimensions are much bigger pieces of structure. Okay. And so as I said, if you think of the physical universe as a sphere, you've basically been in it. You've been in every sector of that, and all the different frequencies associated with it. Very methodical, very logical interspacing of incarnations. Very, very logical. So you've specialised in being sort of regular, well-spaced, and holistically perfect, they're saying here. Okay. So this is the first time I've seen somebody whose incarnations have been really well thought out in terms of the spacing, the number of times you've incarnated, how you've incarnated, and the relationship between the incarnations on Earth and those in the rest of the physical universe. Okay. Right. Let's have a look at where your higher self resides. Your true energetic self, sometimes called the Godhead by Hindu texts, sometimes called the Oversoul. It all means the same thing. True energetic self or higher self. It all means the same thing. Right. You're in the 6th frequency of the 3rd subdimensional component of the 4th full dimension. So I'll send you a document on this, but you're almost about to go into the 5th full dimension here. There's 12 full dimensions in the multiverse. Each of them have got, this is including the first one where we are now, has got 3 subdimensional components. From the 2nd full dimension upwards, though, those subdimensional components split out into 12 frequency bands, which means there's 36 frequency bands per dimension, per full dimension. Each of those frequencies houses a completely self-contained simultaneous universe in its own right. First full dimension has to cope with low frequencies, so those 3 subdimensional components split out and then converge back into one again. They can then spread out into 12 frequencies, but they can converge back into one universe. So there's one universe in the first first full dimension, but every other dimension has 36. So there's 408 frequencies and 397 simultaneous universes. Okay, that's very interesting. Where you are is very good. It's a really high place from an evolutionary perspective. It's almost 5/12 of the way up the structure. When we get to the end of the structure, we do then recommune with our Creator, and then we move around and start again. So to be where you are in an evolutionary cycle, which is only recently started, by the way, I'm told. This is the third one we've all gone through. Is excellent, basically. Very good. Okay. That's the first bit I wanted to give you, this of information about yourself. Do you have any questions on this or any other bits and pieces you want to go through before we can go through?
Not yet.
Okay. Let's have a look at this change then, and how it's affecting you with the anxiety. What I can do at the same time, I can turn the anxiety off. I can turn the, I suppose, panic or fear off, as the case may be. I can work with that. Okay. Now we know where it's coming from, we can do something about it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to just go into your, we'll call it programming. Okay. I'm going to select anxiety and turn that off. What I have to do though is turn it off on 7 different levels within the human form. There's 10 levels, 10 energy levels, but 7 of them are related to the gross physical and what I call the spiritual physical. The melting pot between the energetic and the gross physical. So I have to turn off the manifestation of that thought form in those 7 levels, and then I can sort of almost save it, as it were. So let me have a look. It's working with anxiety. Okay, look at panic attacks, anxiety, same thing, different way of looking at it though. Okay, and overall fear of change. So I've just turned off fear as a general subject matter. Now I'm working on fear of change as well. Okay, I've done that. Right then. So you may feel much more calmer now over the next few days. You may even feel it much more towards the end of today, stroke tomorrow morning. Things that affected you previously won't affect you so much. Okay, you'll be more relaxed about things, more understanding as well. The underlying understanding of what's happening around you. What did you feel the root cause was yourself about the anxiety?
I've been trying to figure it out. I think I have like pain in my spine, like they're on the middle back. It seems like it's a pinched nerve or something.
Okay. Let's have a look at that. So there's a fear of not being healed or it not getting right as well. Let's have a look at So what I'm going to do is just work on your spine as well. Okay. I've seen a knot of energy there, so I'll work with that first. Just fear of not getting well. Hang on. Now this spine. Do you feel your skin crawling sometimes? Like goosebumps around that sort of area?
Usually not, no.
Okay. I'm surprised, but I'm going to work on this energy I'm seeing here. Okay. I just removed a significant area of density of energy. I'm just going to remove the rest of it there. If you feel anything, don't worry. Some people do feel stuff when I'm working on them energy for healing. Others don't. It's not an issue either way. Mm-hmm. Just easing this energy out around your spine. It's like your spines are there, and it's round the middle. It's round the outside. Yeah. It's like your spine's there, and it's encompassing the spine. It's like the spine's there, and it's like round the spine that way. It's moving it away. Okay. And I'm just recycling that energy. What I'm going to do now is just comb the area, energetically comb the area, so that there's no areas of locally low frequency energy within you. It's all one frequency, it's all the same frequency, there's no knots. Basically there's no knots there. So I'm going to literally just comb the energy from your head down to your toes. So what I'm doing is I comb it through. I think of it as a filter. And every time the one filter goes through nicely, I then change the fineness of the filter, so the filter gets finer and finer and finer until I can drop this filter over you and it drops straight to the floor. And so there's no resistance at all, because the energies associated with you are pure, clean, if that makes any sense. Okay. I'm just doing that. Okay, I've spotted something else. I've done that, but spotted something else I want to shift. Right, nearly finished. So I've spotted what I'm going to call like a little astral entity is attached to your spine as well, which looks like it was the reason why you had that heavy energy there. I didn't spot it straight away, so I'm now just removing it and now repairing the area that it used to connect into you. Okay. Okay. Right, so I've repaired that now. I'm also looking at some other bits and pieces that are with you as well. It's almost like I'm going to call it a piece of shrapnel. Imagine you being in like a plane crash or something, and a piece of aluminium, the fuselage had gone through you, and that's sort of there as well, or from a bomb or something, or if you've been in war and been blown up, or for instance, or something that blew up from the side of you and it came through to you. There's something else there as well. I want to work on that. It's not like this other little astral entity. I'm going to shield as well afterwards to make sure you don't get any more of those, because they're parasites. They suck our energy for us, so they can't metabolize their own. Let's have a look. Okay. Right, done. Okay, so I've done that now, and we'll see how you get on with your back. Okay. Right. Let's have a look at this question. Okay. We were going to talk about very quickly. How do you feel, by the way, Nathan? Do you feel okay, or do you have any sensations at all?
Yeah, I was feeling a lot of pressure in my back this whole morning, and I feel like it's let up quite a bit. Almost like a burning sensation a little bit ago, but it's starting to feel better.
Okay. Well, look after yourself. If you've got chance, what I'll suggest you can do is, if you can get some Epsom salts, have a bath of Epsom salts. That's also going to be good for you. That'll help to clear some of the energies surrounding the area as well. But this is just the icing on the cake, basically. It doesn't need to be. You don't need to do it. It would be useful to do it as well. Okay. Right, and let's go into. Let me just shield you now, so you don't get any more of these little critters trying to take energy from you. You may feel as if, you may sometimes feel a little bit enclosed with this. This is just the energies associated with it. So don't worry too much. Okay. I'm just going to finish off the work of the shield. Okay. And clear out the inside between you and the inside edge of the first layer of the shield. I just need to evacuate the energies, so there's nothing there. Make sure. Okay, I'm compacting it down so that it doesn't interfere with anybody else's auras. And now I'm going to program it to stop any entities attaching to you or trying to attach to you via friends or people you trust who can normally get into your energies. Okay, that's the same thing with people who throw energy hooks or any form of attack energetically. It'll be bounced off. And again, if some people or some things want to use trusted people to get into your energies, of what I call the Trojan horse route, it'll stop that. It'll recognise that and stop that from happening. Okay. Right, so that's done. So you may feel a little bit enclosed for a little bit, but you'll get used to that. What you'll find is you don't feel so drained of energy. You might start to feel yourself more energized as well. Okay. Right. Okay. Now we've done that. Any questions or anything else you want looking at healing wise or reading wise?
Not necessarily healing wise, but I'm curious. I had a few questions that I had been wondering about. I don't know if you've ever heard of the concept of a walk-in.
Oh yes, definitely. There's many forms of walking. Yeah.
I'm curious if, because I was in a motorcycle accident about 5 or 6 years ago, and I had a major behavioral change after that. So I'm curious if if I'm a walk-in, basically.
So you banged your head basically in the accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We would like to discuss this with you directly at this time, dear one, rather than let the channel work as an intermediary. When you had your accident, you approached what is called a termination juncture. Termination junctures are points in, shall we say, time along the life plan of the incarnation that you're in, and they are points that you can end the incarnation early within. There are anything up to 5, usually 5, anything between 3 and 5 termination junctures within the life plan of an incarnate that can be used to end the incarnation early without accruing karma or shall we say, the need to address evolutionary issues that would have been accrued had the incarnation continued. And so one of these junctures was with you, with the, shall we say, the motorbike accident that you had. The change in personality is not a result of a walk-in. It is more the result of the information that was shared with you during the times that you were unconscious, either in sleep or after the impact of the accident. We communicated with you, we discussed things with you as to whether you wanted to use this juncture. There was an opportunity to do so, there are many opportunities that many people go through. Many people experience accidents. They can almost drown. They can fall from buildings. They can be in car crashes. They can have heart attacks. And within this period, we as the guide and helpers can communicate with the entity who is incarnate that we are working with, and see if that juncture is needed to be activated. And so in your case, the change in personality is a result of the, shall we say, the resolution of the need to finish this particular part of the life. We will be a bit more clear for you. This is not your first termination juncture. It is the second that is in place for you to look at. And there was an opportunity for you to move out of this existence, because in real terms the work that you're doing here would have not have been affected too much by having an early recall, shall we say, back into the energetic. And so it was discussed as to whether you wanted to stay here and extend your time here, or whether to come back. The choice in staying here resulted in the, shall we say, the reloading of the additional life plan that allows you to continue this life. And so within this there is a change of attitude, a change of awareness, a change of beingness, because you are no longer the person you were who could have left the planet at this first juncture before the motorcycle accident. You are now somebody who has to continue with a new part of the life plan, which is going to continue now past other junctures, should you decide to continue to stay here. And so there is a more serious aspect to you as a result of this in the background, so to speak. There's a desire to experience certain things and work in certain ways. This has also created a need to change your direction, so to speak, at a point not too far from now. And this is where you are receiving information about this change, and what the change will be appropriate to be broadcast to you later. But nevertheless, you are becoming more aware and awake of, shall we say, energetic or spiritual matters, and also that you are and have the capacity to do other roles on this particular incarnation, rather than just being, shall we say, going through the motions of being an incarnate person who is working and eating and living and sleeping and reproducing and having a career, so to speak. You are going to experience more than just that. You will start to see behind the scenes, so to speak, to see how things work, and you will understand how things work beyond this particular reality that is closed to most people, but you'll start to see beyond this. This change is inherently within your personality now, so there is at times a feeling of not being prepared, not being capable, not being confident enough. And so we will work on your confidence right now. We will boost your confidence. We will make you able to accept challenges, to work things out, to communicate with the right people to help you, to enlist the right people to help you, so that you are more capable and more successful than you would ever imagine. We will just work on this confidence one moment. We have given you clear sense, clear seeing as well. This will help you. The channel will work with your third eye to help with your receptibility right now. So know that you're not a walk-in, but simply one whose programming has been changed slightly to account for the extra work that you've got to do that was not apparent before the juncture came into force and you chose to stay here. What I've just been told, as I was coming back into me, is that if you are questioning whether you're a walk-in, you're not one. Usually walk-ins don't know, unless it's a walk-in who is fully aware and awake. Yeah? They are extremely rare. I only know of one, and that was a chap who wrote similar books a long time ago. A chap called Lobsang Rampa. He was a walk-in who came in fully aware and awake. But usually they don't know. Usually it's a case of the personality change. The memory set's retained, of course, from the previous incumbent soul, but you wouldn't be questioning things the way you are. So your changing personality, well, being told, as you haven't explained, is due to the resolution of the need to want to stay here, and therefore the extra workload that's being put on you from an incarnate perspective, and the changes associated with that are, shall I say, upon you, so to speak, and you're feeling there's something big about to happen, and although you might not think it's something big about to happen, that's what's causing the sort of slight, the fear, the bits of fear and the anxiety as well. Okay. I've also been told to work on your third eye. If you don't mind me working on that a moment, that's okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what this will do, it'll make you more intuitive, make you more sensitive. The third eye doesn't just work on clairvoyance, which is clear seeing or seeing spiritual seeing. It also works on clairaudience and clairsentience, so spiritual hearing and spiritual knowingness. Makes you more intuitive, more connected, so to speak. Okay. Again, you may experience some what's the word for it? Physical sensations. If you don't, it doesn't matter. But some people do. Right. Okay. So I've started the activation. I'm just going to do some fine tuning, what I call focus, which helps with the clarity of information, and calibration, which helps the depth of information. Okay. Now I'm just going to work on the calibration. Okay. So you may find that when you're concentrating on things now, working things out, you might get a slight pressure around the area of the third eye, which is just between the two eyebrows and above the bridge of the nose. That there. You might feel, sometimes it might feel tingling. You might feel like somebody's got their thumb inside your head. That's a sign that it's working. Not everybody gets that, but it's a sign. If you do start to feel that, then you know it's working. Okay. Right. Okay, any further questions? Any more questions?
Well, I'm not sure how much time we have, but related to my wife, and also, let's just start off with my wife. I was told that I had an incarnation with her back in England sometime a couple hundred years ago. So I'm wondering if I was connected with that.
You've worked with your wife 3 times in different incarnations. Your guide is smiling and saying, and one of them was the image I've got now for you. So one of them, the first one, was the one at the Scottish borders, which is why your guide has used this image and this name. Subsequently, yeah. So that was more than a couple of hundred years ago. That's more like about 400 or 500 years ago. Probably probably about 400 years ago. So yeah. Okay. She's also been a brother and a parent with you as well. So you've worked. So the 3 times doesn't include this particular incarnation. This is the 4th time, if you want to call it that. And you are now classified as sympathetic souls because you now have worked with each other enough to recognise each other in different incarnations. So if you had another incarnation now and you bumped into her in whatever form she got, you would recognise her energetically. You would have a feeling. You have a feeling of knowing her. Okay, and you may have had this feeling when you first met her, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a sympathetic soul. A sympathetic soul isn't a soul mate. It's 2 souls that work together from different higher selves, but you've worked together before, so you would know the energy signature basically, and therefore that allows you to get that feeling of, I know this person, or I need to get married to this person, for instance. Yeah. You may have known you were going to marry her within a very short space of time, like a couple of months or something. Okay. But yes, you've worked before, definitely. The last life was the parent. She was your father. Okay. Prior to that, brother. First one was this. She was your wife in the Scottish borders. Okay. Does that answer that question for you?
Yeah, and I don't know if you could give like a brief synopsis of that life, just a
the first
very
one.
brief overview. Yeah, the first one.
Okay. You were both the 2nd generation inhabitants of a small village on the Scottish borders. By the 2nd generation, I mean the 2nd generation of settlers there. First generation came after the people moved from the Welsh, the North Wales area, up to that area. So you were the 2nd generation of people who were actually born there rather than travelling there. You were a multi-skilled individual. You had the capacity to be both a blacksmith and a wheelwright, which is what you did. You were very useful with wood, clearly, making wheels, repairing wheels. You used your abilities to work with metal as well to create the metal band around the wheels, and you also provided metal bands for people who made barrels. You could and did sometimes make barrels. You're also a cooper, as they called them. Your wife with you had 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. The boy was the youngest. You actually had because of the work you did, you actually had looking at this, you were quite well off financially in those days because of that. You were quite a respected individual. You didn't, although you were asked for advice, you didn't particularly seek the status of being somebody who was being, asked for assistance in problem resolution. You didn't want to be a leader as such. You were happy to be of service by giving help when you could do. Looking at this, you eventually branched out and started to make the carts as well as the wheels. So you were selling carts that could be steered, i.e. the axle at the front would rotate, and carts that were basically static and steer. They were dragged around, as it were. They didn't actually steer; they dragged around. And you made wheels for all sorts of things. You made wheels also for spinning wheels. There are spinning wheelies.
Right.
Spinning wheels of making yarn out of wool.
Right.
You made those wheels as well. You had 3 people working for you as apprentices. Your own son didn't come into your business. In fact, he didn't live long enough. He ended up dying of TB, tuberculosis. You're at the age of 16. Your oldest daughter married somebody who ended up being like a mayor, quite a high individual. The middle daughter preferred to stay at home and write things like poetry and do samplers, which are like embroidery in a little cage, like embroidery. She had 2 children, a girl and a boy. Your wife then, bearing in mind that people didn't live very long in those days, lasted until she was 34. You lived until you were 56.
Oh.
Yeah. So 56 was old.
Right.
34 was what the sort of expected age, basically. Your eldest daughter, by the way, lasted until she was 78.
Wow.
She had a charmed life, I think, from what I can see here, because of being married to somebody who was of status. The quality of existence was much better. And the middle daughter, or the youngest daughter, she was 55 when she went. I was looking at you also owned a small holding, looking at this, with some land by a river as well, which you diverted to irrigate the land, and also to use to assist with the blacksmith work that you did for for tempering the steel, for instance, making it harder so it lasted longer. When you were welding metals together, it was cold. It was not the welding we know of. It was basically getting metals hot and hammering them together So when they got almost white hot, you hammered the two metals together, and that welded them together. It was a different type of welding than what we know today, which is arc welding or TIG welding or argon welding, etc. But it was a good life. While you were there, the little village that you're in grew, and then in your lifetime there ended up being another 121 inhabitants. So it was a good place to be. Okay, very good place to be. Okay. Is that enough information for you? Or?
Yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Okay. Right. If you've got more questions, you can throw them at me. There's no problem.
Oh, I'm curious if my friend Nick in this lifetime, apparently I had some kind of connection with him as well. So I'm just curious how many lifetimes I, interacted with him.
Nick. Well, I've just been told 23 lifetimes. Definitely a sympathetic soul now. Let's have a look at this. Not specifically on Earth, though. Most of your incarnations, around 16 of them, have been off the planet. In different locations on the Earth. You seem to have been working together for what would be around seven millennia, 7,000 years in Earth terms. In Earth terms, so that's the time frames I think about. So you're working together certain times. Again, he's somebody who you'd recognised straight away. When you first met him, you just thought, "Oh, I know this person," and you got on.
Yeah, I did.
You got on very, very well straight away. You both have similar interests, both have similar ideas. Both know how to enjoy yourselves the right way. It's all everything you do. Is quite linked into each other. What I'm getting here is at times. There are times actually when you two get together, you don't need wives. You can just have a good time. You can just have good times together and work together and play together. That's play hard together, as it were. The camaraderie between you two is such that if you weren't married, it wouldn't be an issue. For instance, it's you've got a good friend there who will help you out, and you will help out as well. The sort of person who would go through hell and high water for you, and vice versa. Okay. So 23 times you work with that particular soul. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, and you'll know him. Okay. Yes, you'll know him for some time to come as well in this particular life. Okay. Right. He'll be around for quite some time longer. Right. Any more questions?
I think that's pretty much it for now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if anything springs, is there anything else you want healing as well while I'm just here? So, is there any other questions we're going through? Yeah.
lagging a lot. I'm gonna. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just saying. Is there any more questions you have, or while you've got me on the line?
No, I think that's it for now.
Okay.
By the way, I still haven't paid you. I couldn't find where to find the link for that.
Oh, on the website, if you go onto Readings and Healings and click on Healing, you'll see a PayPal button at the bottom. I'll just stop the recording now. Actually, let's just.